Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Delve. Today we continue to prototype our reimagining of the battle system in Pokemon. Now last time we focused on improving control and movement for our monster friends, but we were left a little underwhelmed by the end of things. The difficulties with the gamepad mapping and the realization combat would need more tweaks than I thought left us with back-to-back strikeouts. Luckily, we also worked on enemy AI, which did not end in complete failure, so not all hope was lost. And so today we continue working on controls, but this time we're looking at alternatives for our current issues. Then we'll focus on adding timing to our combat, which is also something we started last time. And hopefully if we do it right, that'll mean attack behavior for our player monster will be the same as it is for our enemy monsters. Sounds ambitious, I know, so let's not waste any more time and get to the coding. First up was looking into our alternatives for our control scheme. I decided that when in combat, the player's monster will always auto-target the enemy. I honestly think moving forward, this is gonna work better than free aim, which will still be available in the non-combat mode once we get it working right. Anyway, from there, I decided to immediately move on to our attack code. To pull off an attack timing, we would need, yes, yet another script. We'd also need a few new variables to keep track of everything. Now, much like we attempted last time, we're using a mixture of the switch function and timers to sequence out our attacks. In the case of the Thunderbolt attack, we needed the player to stop moving, wait for a few frames, attack, and then wait for a reset. What's different this time is the script is constantly running, and our attack prompts become triggers that initiate the script to run through the corresponding attack sequences. In theory, this should have worked, but in reality, it didn't. Disabling player control just wasn't sticking, and so revisions were needed. I removed the Boolean check and instead simply checked if an attack had been initiated. The only way to then reset that check is for the attack sequence to play out to the end. And to make sure this system worked regardless of attack cooldown time, I added a max time variable for the sequence to pull from. These revisions were, thankfully, a success, meaning now control and timing all worked via the attack sequence script. And with that working, it meant we could also apply the same code for our Thunderstrike attack, because they both just so happen to behave similarly. And over the course of the next 30 minutes or so, I balanced timers and cooldowns so they all work together. I also confused myself to an embarrassing degree because despite my usage of enums, keeping track of and passing all that data was tough. I think at this point my brain was just so fried from all the editing that I had trouble concentrating. Regardless, all that effort paid off because we now had an attack system in place that could be used universally. Maybe. To call it a success meant passing one last test. We now needed to apply this code to the enemy, and if we did everything right, we should see similar if not identical behaviors. So first I carried over all our new variables to the enemy code and edited the existing code so that it could work with our new script. Then as before, I had it choose an attack at random. Again, these attacks are the exact same for as the players, so therefore there should be no differences. And what do you know, it actually works. Well, almost. First, let's just admire the fact that two monsters, one controlled by a human, the other the computer, are both using the same code to attack. And not only that, but they behave accordingly. The code could definitely use some simplification, but it works, and this means moving forward, adding new attacks shouldn't be all that difficult. And yes, the enemy still has some kinks to work out, like not moving when it shouldn't be moving, but that should be an easy fix. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But that'll have to wait because this brings us to the end of today's session and this episode of Let's Dev. So remember that if you like this video or enjoy Let's Dev in general, be sure to hit that like button. If you aren't already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. And as always, be sure to leave your thoughts on our progress in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.